Recording with electricity. Hopefully, no issues today. And today is episode 33. Getting closer, Franco.
33. Yes. Getting closer to 36. 33. Finally, the Davy Shoe episode is out.
Yes. Go and watch it.
Go and watch it. Go and listen to it. Actually, that's a one. It's a great interview. It was quite fun and very nice. It was a very down to earth director. Sometimes we forget these people are human beings.
Yes.
But first off, how are you doing, Andrea?
I'm good. I just watched Oppenheimer yesterday. So that was the experience. Now I'll talk about it later on, obviously.
Same here. Same here.
Yeah.
I saw it yesterday, and it's growing on me. It's growing on me.
Yeah. The more I think about it, the better it becomes. But obviously, that is for the review. I guess it will be a full spoiler review, right, Franco? There's no real spoilers for Oppenheimer, I guess.
That's why. Yes. So spoiler alert: the bomb.
The bomb works.
The bomb works. Spoiler alert: they drop it on
Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I love the guy. When the President Truman forgets about Nagasaki.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, and Nagasaki.
And when he presses the button, he goes, "It's open time." So
it's open time. But we'll talk about all that in the review section of the podcast.
No.
What about you, Franco? How's it going?
It was quite an interesting 2 weeks. Like, I've seen Barbie, I've seen Oppenheimer. I'm thinking of watching They Clone Tyrone after we finish with the podcast. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be quite a snappy podcast today. What's funny is that at work, Barbie, it was fully booked, and I think it's still going to be fully booked until a couple of shows. And out of all people, we had to meet the Love Island cast who went to watch the movie, and it was interesting. In fact, they asked me, "What is the Ad Lib Podcast all about?"
Yes, good question. Although I have to say some of their takes on the movie were a little iffy.
No, Nate, only Nate, because the woman loved it. The woman loved it, and they enjoyed it. But Madonna, plus these guys didn't get it. Anyway,
no.
These guys didn't get it. Like,
but to answer Nate's question, because Nate obviously wanted to know, because I know Nate. His take maybe wasn't great, but I know that Nate is now going to start watching the Ad Lib podcast since he asked you to maybe inform himself a little bit more and to educate his takes a bit more.
Yes,
because that's what we do here, right? Because here at the Ad Lib podcast, we talk about movies, we talk about TV series, we talk about video games. Today, actually, I have to talk about a video game. I'll talk about it when I talk about the stuff I've been doing this week. And that's what we do here. This week, we've got a couple of trailers to talk about, not too many trailers released. We've got not a lot of news as well. Obviously, we'll be talking about the Barbenheimer weekend. Big weekend. The fourth biggest box office weekend of Hollywood's history. Mattel apparently is going to be releasing like 10, 15 movies about different toys. We'll talk about that as well. And some other stuff. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, for once, will not be criticizing him. Some AI jobs to talk about as well from Hollywood studios. So some stuff to talk about here. And then obviously we've got the big reviews, right, for Barbie and Oppenheimer. But Franco, let's start off with what you've been up to this week. What have you watched? What have you been doing?
Like I said, Barbie, Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer watched yesterday. Never have I ever hated an intermission so much. Never have I ever hated an intermission so much, because the movie was getting. I could notice the movie going up at a crescendo, and then
with the soundtrack.
Yes, the soundtrack was so good as well. Really enjoyed both of them. Barbie, especially Barbie, was was hilarious. I'm just Ken. I'm Kenuff. Otherwise, not much work. I just finished another episode of Dark Histories. Go try and find this TikTok series that we're making at work. It's an interesting series about the not so known histories of Malta. It's like last time we did about love magic. This time we did about abortions back in the 1650.
Okay, interesting.
So that's what kind of punishment you would get if they found out you had
All
abortion.
right, interesting.
And these are all documented. This is not just like we're plucking out of thin air. You can see documented. Even Judge Emeritus Giovanni Bonello wrote about them in the Times back in
Okay,
2017.
interesting.
That's it mostly. And how about you?
I've been quite busy actually. So obviously I watched Barbie during the weekend. I watched it on Saturday and watched it on Friday. It was fully booked when I went to go and book, but Saturday there were some availability. So I watched it on Saturday. Had a really good time. Watched it with Christian. It was a blast. We'll talk about it in the review section. Obviously yesterday I watched Oppenheimer, like I said. Another very good experience. I'll talk about it later on as well.
That was a blast, for sure.
Yeah, definitely a blast. But apart from that, I actually watched some other movies. I decided to go on a bit of a Japanese movie binge.
Ooh, okay.
I watched Tokyo Story. I never watched Tokyo. I never watched Tokyo Story. I watched
Yeah.
Tokyo Story a few days
Yashuziro
ago.
Ozu, right?
Yes, Yasujiro Ozu. It's interesting. I don't know what I expected going into it. Obviously, it's a very technically masterful movie. Let's start with that. The camera work and the cinematography and the acting, it's masterful. It's kind of like
Yeah, I was gonna say.
way above. The camera work is incredible.
I was gonna say.
It's a slow movie, yeah, though. It's a very slow movie. A very, 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 very slow movie. It was a tough watch at times, I'll admit. And I'm not someone whose attention span is not always, I can watch 3-hour movie. I mean, it's not a very long movie either. It's like 2 hours and something. I forgot how long it is. 137 minutes because I have it in front of me on Letterboxd. So it's not a very, very, very long movie, but it's very slow paced. The character development and the relationships that develop between the family, develop very, very slowly. However, in the final third, that's where I got the movie. And in the final third, the emotional punch that comes from the final third is wow. It's a very, 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 very big punch to the heart, like the final third of the movie. Getting there was tough. I'll admit it. I'm not scared to admit that. Even though it's a beloved movie by pretty much all critics and anyone who watches it, for me it was a bit of a tough watch. So that was Tokyo Story by Yasujiro Ozu. I also watched Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa. Obviously, I had never watched the whole thing. I had watched different parts of it, but I never sat down and watched 3 hours 30 minutes of the whole movie.
Same here. Because what I watch of Akira Kurosawa is his noirs. You have to check out his noirs. High and Low. There was another one I forgot. It's really interesting how he goes from period pieces to noirs as well.
I've watched his period pieces. Ran. I watched. Which one is
Rashomon.
The Shakespeare. Let me tell you which ones I've
Run.
watched. Ran. There's also Throne of Blood as well.
Yes.
I watched it in university because I had Shakespeare in film, so I watched Throne of Blood. I also watched the Hamlet. Which one was the Hamlet one? I forgot which one was the Hamlet. Oh, Ran was the Hamlet one. Yeah, Ran was the Hamlet one.
Ran was King Lear.
Sorry, Ran was King Lear. So Ran was King Lear. I watched Yojimbo as well. That I watched as well, and Throne of Blood. I've watched his epics, I think, basically.
He's got also an interesting movie he filmed in Russia. Actually, I forgot what's the name.
The one I want to watch is Ikiru. That's the one I really want to watch. I've been meaning to watch it for so long.
Before you watch the remake, which is also apparently up there, well thought out remake with Bill. That's not Bill Nye. Is it Bill Nye?
Yes, well? Bill Nye. That's the Bill Nye one. He was nominated for Best Actor, for
exactly,
that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But about Seven Samurai, now that's an Avengers movie. It's so epic, man. It's so epic. It's incredible. Like the battle sequences are just out of this world. Like I don't get how this was filmed in 1954. Like I couldn't get it. Like so beautiful, and the duel The Duel, I think you've seen, right, Franco?
I've
The
seen
Duel.
I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen the whole movie as well.
Ah,
Yeah,
man, The
just
Duel is. Oh my god, it's so good. Like, it's how is a movie that good? Like, it's long. It's 3 hours 30. It's long at times. It's
it's
long,
yeah.
but it's very funny. I'm surprised by how funny it was. It's really really funny. Like there was one character, I forgot his name, to be honest, because the names are not easy for me to follow. But there was one character, unless I can't remember the name of the, who was really funny though. Kiki, they used to make fun of him a lot. He was one of the toughest samurai. He dies then at the end of the movie, but he
Oh,
was
okay.
really really funny. But no, this was super epic. Like, anyone watching this, if you haven't watched Seven Samurai and you're worried about the length, watch it. It's so epic. Like, the 3 hours 30 minutes, yes, it's long, it's wrong, and at times, but the whole build up, training the villagers and finding the samurai, and then the whole battle with the bandits, it's so epic. It's like there's nothing like this. This is like,
Texture. So much texture in that movie as well, like
oh,
the wind and the rain as well, the mud.
and the
It's-
camera work.
and
Majestic.
speaking of bells, the Magnificent Seven was actually a remake of Seven Samurai.
Yes.
That's an interesting fact over there. George Lucas was inspired by, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it's Yojimbo or Sanshiro the Bailiff. I know George Lucas was inspired by Akira Kurosawa Akira Kurosawa's filmography.
Ashira the Bandit, that's the next one. I've got it loaded. I'm going to be watching it
Sanshiro
today.
the Bailiff.
Sanshiro the Bailiff, that's the one, yeah.
Okay.
I have it loaded up. I found it on YouTube, actually.
It's
So
no,
I'm
yeah.
going to be watching it on
Some
YouTube.
you can find some really good movies on YouTube, especially Russian ones. Some British movies as well. And try and I'm gonna make a suggestion. This is one of my favorite thrillers actually. Cure.
Cure.
An-
All right.
Another Kurosawa, nothing to do with Akira. I think it's Ryo Kurosawa.
Kiyoshi Kurosawa.
Kiyoshi Kurosawa. That's an amazing movie. That's a really good movie.
All right. Okay.
And if you want to get some shockers, watch Ichi the Killer, Takashi Miike.
Ichi the Killer. All right. Love really hurts. This looks.
Yeah, it's a tough
crazy.
watch. I think it's through. If I remember, it's through him that I got to find out about Korean cinema, because then there was Old Boy suggested.
For our viewers, I'm going to share the Letterboxd page. It's looks crazy. Oh, it's taking a while to load. But yeah, this looks crazy.
Anyway, in the meantime,
there we go.
Yes. How much? 3.6.
3.6.
In any case, for our viewers, what have you been doing this week?
Yes.
What did you watch?
About Joe? Joe, what have you been watching?
Oh, where's Joe?
Joe isn't here.
Joe isn't here.
Still busy with work.
Joe, he's Sigma Grinder Joe.
But shall we get into it, Mela Franco? We'll start off with the first trailer.
For sure. First we have to say to our viewers and listeners, subscribe, like, comment. Let us know what have you been watching during this week. Did you go and do your Barbenheimer? In what order did you watch it? If you watched it separately, and what else have you watched? Let us know in the comments below, and get in touch with us on our social medias on Facebook. If you find us, don't stalk us, or we'll have a restraining order on you. Okay.
First trailer. So we're going to start off with the trailers as always, guys. We'll start off with Gen V. Now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really know what to expect out of this. So, first of all, Franco, have you watched The Boys?
So, with The Boys, yes. I think I have to watch season... There's this third season, right, now?
Is it the third season?
If I'm not mistaken.
The one with Soldier Boy.
I think the third season, yes. I haven't watched it yet. Gen V, I think it's more of the same now. I've seen the trailer, pre-watched, as gory and bloody as the original thing. It doesn't seem. I mean, it seems the special effects look great. I feel like the filming looks better in this one.
Really?
Hmm.
Hmm. I mean, this is the boys. So I mean,
Yeah,
this
this
is
is
the
the
boys.
original one.
You know what worries me are the characters, because obviously the boys. One of the biggest things about the boys are like the fantastic characters,
Mm-mm.
right? I mean, and obviously the actors themselves, Carl Urban, Huey. Oh, what's his name? The actor for Huey. He was in Oppenheimer as well. He had a really small
Then
role.
Jack Quaid.
Jack Wade. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a really wasted casting, by the way, in Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Um,
No, there was
Jack
many.
Quaid.
There were the cast was stacked. There was
Yeah.
also like, what's not Logan Lerman? I always forget him. He was in Sky High, as far as I remember. Let me check. I'm checking the guy who was in Sky High because I remember.
Um, but about the boys, I mean, even Jensen Ackles, for example, as Soldier Boy. So these are like big name actors. And here the cast is more like focused around teenagers, mostly teenagers.
Yeah,
Um, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't recognize any of the actors from Gen V.
no,
Um,
they seem all newcomers, huh?
the mostly newcomers. Of course, we've got some returning from the boys. Like what's her name? The woman who takes care of
Uh,
Ashley Barrett. Ashley Barrett, Colby
mm,
Minifie. But apart from that, most of the cast I don't recognize.
there's an Apple
Liz
casting.
Broadway.
There's an Apple casting
Who's
with Patrick
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger.
Patrick Schwarzenegger, of course. Golden Boy.
Mm,
um, I mean, apart from that, it's the cost. I'm not going to say it worries me per se. It's more a question of are they going to be as good as the cost of the boys, because the cost of the boys are bloody fantastic. I mean, Carl Urban is brilliant. He's such a great character, and the way his character develops through the 3 seasons of the boys is
diabolical.
spot on. And the villains, because now we don't have Homelander as the villain. That's another, that I think the thing I love the most about the boys is
Mm,
Homelander and how bloody psychotic he is as a villain. And we don't have that in Gen V. But
mm.
like you said, the special effects look great, look really well done. Like the effects for her when she like fires the blood from her hands, like Spider-Man, they look really good.
That's
I don't
really
know what you think
it's
about that,
it's
Franco.
it's like a blood witch. It's quite yeah,
Like that looks great.
quite gnarly,
Hmm.
gnarly. Sorry, that's the Maltese pronunciation of gnarly.
Gnarly.
It's I think it's more of the same. I'm honestly I'm not interested. It's like obviously it's the selling point of the boys with the gore and what's not. I've become really like if there's nothing new to offer, I sort of lose interest immediately, and that's it so far. I mean, if you are a fan of the boys, I think people will watch this Gen V
I'll watch this. I'll definitely watch this. It comes out on September 29th. First 3 episodes
September
come out on
29.
September 29th. So, I mean, my €5 which go into Prime Video, at least I get something out of them. There we go. Someone agrees with me about the Spider-Man one. Jazz
Uh,
Sinclair's Maury Moreau, a teenage soup who can use her veins and arteries in very much the same way that Spider-Man uses his webs. It looks good. The effects look great. Like I said, the characters, right? Look, will they be as interesting as the characters in the boys? I guess we'll find out.
we'll see.
I'm always a bit iffy when it comes to like a very teenage cast of characters. I'm always a little bit iffy.
Yeah, I mean, it's speaking of teenage, this is
Speaking
teenage.
of
Yeah,
teenage cast.
This trailer
um,
is really strange. I don't. It's sorry. So yeah, we're speaking of the Exorcist Believer trailer. Did we need another Exorcist? No, no one.
I don't think we really need. But I have something to say. Talk about the trailer first, Franco, and then I'll say something about something Jason Blum said
No,
about it.
basically, no. I mean the Blumhouse stamp always promising. I mean, I don't.
Exactly.
I'm not expecting some deep A24 kind of horror. The new Exorcist Believer is about two teenagers that go missing in the woods. No, early, like almost preteens now, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
preteens.
yeah.
Yeah, they look very young.
Preteens that go missing in the woods, and they return possessed. And we have Ellen Burstyn coming back, one of the
Hmm.
original cast, the mother basically in the first Exorcist. Um, uh, I know I found it very strange. It's very strange because some of the filming looks like it's like made for TV, and then at the end they come up with this really interesting flash, black and white flashes.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, so what's going on? Like this looks like something I would watch on Amazon. You know,
Yes,
it's
exactly, exactly.
almost the same.
Or a Netflix, like a
Yeah,
Netflix show.
no, but almost the same color. If you notice, even the same color grading as the boys, quasi, like with that blue and orange, teal and orange kind of thing. I don't know, man. Even this was the same thing with Gran Turismo. Something's off with this. Like for example, we just seen that cut. These really flash cuts of the girl shouting flesh and blood. Hi, we've seen it all before, Stra. Oh, that's the woman from Hereditary, right? The nurse. There's this. This is a nice cross to solve. You know, it's really interesting. Even the last flashes. See now, it's like there's no contrast whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree, Franco. Some of the, I think one of the reasons is the digital effect of it all, and the Netflix, Amazon Prime, like everything looks so clean, and but at the same time, then
Yes,
there are some
yes,
shots.
yes.
Then there are some shots like these which look a bit better. I don't know.
Yeah. That's why I said it's
These,
a very
this, these,
strange.
these shots look great.
That's why I said it's a
So
very strange. It's a strange trailer because
mhm,
some shots like,
mhm.
oh, okay.
Sorry, I thought I was sharing because obviously it stopped sharing. These shots at the end here,
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. The one with the black and white. These
yeah,
ones,
these
right?
look great. And
Hmm.
even there was a shot. This shot, for example, I don't know. It looks good to me.
Yeah,
Um,
but you have a great contrast. That you have a
mhm,
great contrast
mhm,
ratio.
mhm,
You see, there's a great darkness in it. The other,
uh-huh,
like even vignetting as well.
mhm. And then the shots at the beginning. These look more like
Flat.
these look more like made for
Yeah,
TV
yeah,
shots.
yeah.
But I wanted to mention something, Franco, about what
But
Jason Blum mentioned. Um,
uh huh.
however, if fans aren't familiar with it, I want to make a movie. So Jason Blum said this: I want to make a movie that works for both audiences. I want to make a movie for people that know and love the first Exorcist and are furious that we're doing this, but somehow drag themselves to the theater. I want them to come out happy, and I want to make a movie that people who've never heard of the Exorcist really enjoy. So I think it's testament to show how kind of like how self-aware he is about the fact that
Oh,
they
Jace.
are making another Exorcist, and he knows that there will be the big fans of the Exorcist will probably be like, oh my god, here we go again, and they're going to ruin more of our history. So I think he's very very self-aware, and he knows the discourse there will be online, and the discourse people
Yeah.
like us, Franco, will be talking about. But at the same time, he knows that someone like me will still go and watch it. And hopefully, when I leave the cinema, I leave happy. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, Blumhouse. Like again. I think they have solid repertoire right now
Hmm.
with even Insidious, and apparently the last Insidious was unfairly criticized. I haven't watched it yet. I haven't.
I've never watched the other Insidious movie, so I
Not
didn't go
even the
watch it
first
either.
one. Not even
No,
the
no,
first
none of
one.
them. None of them. None of
The
them.
first. Oh my god, the first one is so good. One of James Wan. When he was top form James Wan,
All right.
that movie.
Okay.
And even the Conjuring, the Conjuring. Oh my
Yeah, The
god,
Conjuring I watched, but Insidious I never watched. I never watched any
Insidious,
of them.
Insidious was very good. I have to still watch *Malignant* because Joe really praises that movie to a certain level, but he praises it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. Actually, it's interesting because I haven't watched a horror in a cinema in ages. Istra. I haven't watched a horror. Midsommar. Midsommar was the last horror I watched.
Astra? Okay.
Mm.
So I watched Scream recently. I watched Scream 6. Yeah, that's true. I haven't watched a real horror, however, in a long time.
True.
Where did they show Midsummer in the cinemas, Frank? I forgot.
Eden, Mela. I think we went together with the Prickly Pears. You remember?
Okay. Say, I don't think I had gone there
Okay,
to watch
okay.
it.
Yeah, but we went together to watch it at Eden.
All right. Mela, moving on, guys. Unfortunately, I had to switch off my camera because there were some disconnection issues, but we shall continue on with the first news piece of today, which is this little bit of news. There's an article from The Hollywood Reporter, which reports that studios quietly go on hiring spree for AI specialist jobs amid picket line anxiety. As you know, we've been talking about obviously the Sag-Aftra strike and the Writers Guild strike for quite some time now, months basically. And one of the big issues being discussed is obviously AI, the whole issue of how will AI, take people's jobs, whether it's writing, whether it's in acting, and all the different areas in the creation of a movie, basically. And whilst the writer and actor strikes are going on, this is a nice little speech by Bryan Cranston. We've got a message for Mr. Iger, who is described by The Hollywood Reporter as the main villain right now. We've got a message for you, Mr. Iger. I know, sir, that you look through things through a different lens. We don't expect you to understand who we are, but we ask you to hear us and beyond that to listen to us when we tell you we will not be having our jobs taken away and given to robots. Anyways, it's a nice little speech by Bryan Cranston, but why? What is this big issue with AI? So, fittingly given Cranston's speech, Disney seems particularly intrigued by the tech. The company has a number of open positions focused on AI and machine learning across the country, per a review of open positions by The Hollywood Reporter. Some are part of Disney's Imagineering team, the group responsible for turning Disneyland and Walt Disney World into world-renowned attractions. One job for an R&D Imagineer focused on generative AI is looking for someone who has the ambition to push the limits of what AI tools can create and understand the difference between the voice of data and the voice of a designer, writer, or artist. The role will collaborate with third-party studios, universities, organizations, and developers to evaluate, adopt, and integrate the latest generative AI. The job promises a base salary of up to $180,000 per year. Nice. Another role for a machine learning engineer. Sorry, Franco?
Even better with the Netflix. $900,000 per year.
$900,000 for an AI product manager job that promises compensation of exactly up to $900,000. Business is driven by machine learning, artificial intelligence, which fuels innovation in content creation and acquisition, personalization, payment processing, and other revenue-centric initiatives. All of this screams creator-centric, author works of art, right, Franco? That's exactly what this screams.
No. So I was like, "What the hell are you saying?" No. In fact, I told you guys in our chat, I told you don't tell me any AI would come up with a story like Barbie and Oppenheimer. Don't tell me, man. And this is such an asshole move by the studios. It's such an asshole move by the studios. I mean, I'm sorry. Plus, you still want, at the end of the day, you still want a human to input the data. I mean, it's if it's it's not, these are not menial jobs, because I would understand if it was like a different industry, but Jesus Christ, like it's it's untenable, genuinely untenable.
I mean, most of this, however, doesn't seem to be. Most of it seems to be more like building content for viewers and giving viewers the content that kind of like the AI decides you want to watch.
Yeah,
Is what I'm getting from this, which I
so
guess we
but
already see.
don't we have an algorithm already? So what's the point?
Yes, the algorithm.
This is just not through the door, but through the window.
The
No,
AI arms race.
I mean, it's such a it's such a buzzword right now. AI. I mean, and you're losing the humanity. It's like we've seen many movies right now. I'm saying, was this written by a human or by an AI?
Yep.
Like for example, Quantum Mania. Quantum Mania. Take that for example. I'm sure some of it was written by AI. Not only to mention, like again, Chris Tuckman said that I think we're going to repeat this, but fuck it, I don't care. I mean, it is very important to put this into context. Chris Tuckman has said that basically, if you're an extra or an actor, you go for one day of filming and that's it.
Exactly.
They have their own image. It's Zop, Shijifiri. It's like
That doesn't make sense. So it doesn't make
no,
sense.
it doesn't make sense whatsoever. There's no growth whatsoever. I mean, again, AI can never replace the human. Like even when you try and see poems written by AI, they're so verbose, and I'm starting to get attuned to the difference.
So that is,
I
as usual, the
mean,
scummy studios.
I'm gonna. That's very scummy, very scummy. And to tell you the truth, like I said, like for the dark histories, at the end of the day, I do use AI to generate some images, but at the end of the day, I still have to edit the hands, the faces, to make a kind of storyline. I mean, it's great, but as much as possible, I also source other images. It is part of a toolkit. I shouldn't become the tool, Almadov. It's untenable. I'm sorry, it's untenable and very scummy. I'm sorry. Why should I be sorry? I'm not sorry. Fuck you, studios.
Moving on to something a bit more positive,
Yep.
however, remaining on kind of the same thread, because we usually shit on this guy quite a bit, but fortunately, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did something right here.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it was reported that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson made this historic donation to charity helping striking actors. In fact, I think he gave the biggest donation
Yep.
Sag-Aftra have ever received. The wrestler turned actor is reported to have made a 7-figure donation after the Sag-Aftra Foundation, charity associated with the union, but not part of it, issued a plea to its highest earning members. Now, I don't care about diabetes. The charity organizes financial relief to the union's 160,000 members who have been on strike since 2nd May of seeking higher pay and safeguards against unauthorized use, like we've been talking about. Sag-Aftra Foundation President Courtney B. Vance and Executive Director Sid Wilson told Variety that Johnson's donation has the potential to aid thousands of actors. It's the largest single donation that we've ever received from one individual at one time, Mr. Wilson said, adding that people will be able to keep food on the table, keep their children safe, and their cars running. Exact amount that the Moan actor Madonna, donated remains unknown. Obviously, on social media, they thanked Johnson for his generosity. Yeah, so that's hey.
Yep.
Astra, nice.
Yeah, the equity is the British counterpart of Sag-Aftra, basically.
Yeah,
Brian Cox.
yeah.
There
Fuck
was
off.
there was a Maltese actor as well present during these strikes. Ed De Gaetano as well. So
Okay, nice.
friend of the show, Ed De Gaetano. Yeah, but no, it's good. Hopefully, he won't have enough money to do Moana. No, no.
Well,
I
today we
mean,
won't shit
no,
on
for sure.
Dwayne Rock Johnson.
I think this is a good thing. Apparently, it's been rumored that it's around seven figures. Huh?
Yeah,
The donation.
seven figure donation.
So
So good on you, Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
this goes on to show for anyone on our side, so to speak, to say, but these are millionaires. Why are they striking? Well, I mean, that's how they strike. They help people out because they know the importance of having a union. Bryan Cranston, for example, Mara Wilson said it nicely. Mara Wilson, the actress who played Matilda ages ago, where she said that this guy has been almost 40 years in the industry, 20 years as a nobody, then in Malcolm in the
Mm-hmm.
Middle, and then he
Mm-hmm.
made his breakthrough with Breaking Bad.
Exactly. And you'll be surprised, even not the biggest actors. Obviously, I'm not talking about The Rock and Tom Cruise and whatnot, but even the middle scale actors who you see in a number of movies, you think they're super rich, but in fact, many of them are still working paycheck to paycheck,
Of course,
which
that
is
because
which was
because
a shocking discovery for me during the strikes. Maybe
because
we're more
because
aware of
there's
these kind of things.
because there's no residuals. There's no
Exactly,
residuals. I
exactly.
mean, Cranston. I think Cranston himself said it. No, James Gunn's brother. I think
Yes,
he
Sean
said
Gunn.
it. Sean Gunn. Sean Gunn says like, how the hell? It's like 10 years ago I made 20,000 and now I'm just barely scraping 200.
The residuals for streaming is an awkward one, Astra. It's an awkward one. Like,
Yeah,
how are you going to count that one? That's the one thing. I really do not understand how they're going to reach like an agreement on that. Because how can you count our streaming services obviously don't show the amount of people who watch their shows for a reason, right? For this exact reason. So Netflix, for example, never release how many people watch their shows. They show
they,
which ones are the most popular, but they
they
never show the
no
exact
no
amount.
no, but
Obviously, they know. Obviously, they
they
know.
they know, and are they really popular? Maybe they're pushing it to be popular. It's not exactly.
No, but something like Stranger Things, that's popular. I mean,
No,
that's a
stranger. Yes,
cultural.
yes, but
Orange is the
this.
New Black, for example, there was a big hubbub about Orange is the New Black because a lot of the actresses on Orange is the New Black protested about the fact that, listen, this is one of the biggest hits on Netflix, and we're not getting any residuals from it. Like, we're getting what, 89 cents? I saw one shared on Twitter, 89 cents, or like $2 something residuals from all of Orange is the New Black,
They
which
they
is
they
ridiculous.
they know the viewership. Yeah, they know the viewership. Come on.
No, they know the viewership. But for example, even with the old stuff, if you've got like an old movie and you've got, let's say,
Let's
200 people watching it per
no.
week.
Let's say Friends. Friends.
Friends. Okay, Friends, for
Friends.
example.
Friends is a great example because many people rewatch it, especially here in Malta. Or what's what that Buzzinga? Which is what is it called? Big Bang.
Uh,
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory. Now, the streaming service will say, but are people watching it? Are people paying to watch for Friends, specifically for Friends, or are people paying to watch all the different shows that Netflix includes? And then, since Friends is there, they're also watching Friends.
Yeah, but
That's what the
no, but
producers will say. The
no,
producers
but
guild will
but
say, and
but
and and
still, at the end of the day, they're watching Friends, so residual has to be made at the end of the day. Whichever show they're watching, maybe someone else in a large Uganda, they're watching their own show.
I don't see David Zaslav and Bob Iger and whatnot agreeing to this, because if
Oh,
they agree to this, what's going to happen is they're going to throw away all the majority of shows and movies from their streaming service.
They're already doing it, but because they're already doing it only for
But on
them.
a very, very low scale. They're removing
No,
shit like Willow.
no,
But now they're going to be removing a lot of stuff if they're forced to pay residuals.
No. What do you mean they have to remove their stuff? If they want to remove Alech, they take less pay. He's making Alech $78,000 a day.
They're not going to agree on getting a smaller pay. Franco, you know better than me.
The
big heads, David Zaslav, Bob Iger, and the lot. They're not going to take lesser pay. No way. There's not a chance. They'd rather see, like we saw on that article, they'd rather see actors on the streets go homeless than reduce their pay. That's never going to happen. That is pointless. That's why I don't see how they're ever going to reach an agreement on residuals.
We'll see about that. Let's keep it at least light and positive, because it's impossible. It's untenable right now. It's untenable.
To mention something positive about this, did you hear about A24?
Yes, A24 agreed. Based A24.
But they basically, long story short, A24 agreed to all the demands by Sag-Aftra, which is a great thing. Which is a great thing to see.
Exo Oshira.
Exo Oshira, exactly. So that is a bit of news on the Sag-Aftra strike.
Speaking of A24, there was a bit of a drama surrounding Travis Scott.
Which one did you read, Franco?
I forgot which one. But recently he released a poster that they said there's A24 involved in his movies. The director roster is stacked: Harmony Korine, Gaspar Noé, Nicholas Winding Refn.
Mm-hmm.
But it came out that A24 is not the
studio.
It's not the studio behind the film.
What the fuck? This is a weird one.
I think after what happened with Scotty Heimer. No, and I think after what happened with The Weeknd, I was like, nope, no more rappers, no more.
So hip-hop artist Travis Scott has a feature film going into theaters this weekend. He announced the release of Circus Maximus through a tweet, or rather an X, because now obviously Twitter is no more. It's now X. Revealing poster art of himself on a motorcycle and taking writer-director credit, although a release about the film also lists 5 other famous names as additional directors. But just who is behind the film is a mystery, though. An A24 logo appears on the poster of art Scott put out, attributing the company as the film's producer. Yet, asked about the project by Variety, the company says the movie is not actually theirs. Whether the film is a narrative movie or an omnibus of connected music videos remains to be explained too, though the long list of directors would point toward the latter. There's also a 32-second trailer for the film, which does not include any credits or distribution information, consisting of widely disparate shots of Travis in exotic locations or cabs careening through city streets. This is a really weird one. This is a very, 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 very weird one. I watched the did you watch the trailer, Franco?
I saw a bit of the trailer. Looks my interest is piqued, so to speak.
I mean, it looks beautifully shot from the shots I saw.
And I mean, Gaspar Noé and Winding Refn, Harmony Korine.
What do you think, Franco? I mean, it's coming out in theaters today, coincidentally. The day we're recording, obviously. What do you think, Franco?
It's coming out today as we're recording.
July 27th.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I'll check it out. I mean, recently some of the tickets... Yeah, we're laughing.
This is cinema.
We're laughing at the tweets, at the tweet replies, X replies. Sorry. I like how it's called X, but then you have to tweet. But we're ignorant. We're not billionaires. Andrea, we're stupid people. We don't know what.
All right,
Barbie.
Back to the good news, because this weekend obviously was the Barbenheimer weekend, not for Malta. because we had to wait till Wednesday to watch it, till yesterday.
Thank
But
you, KRS, by the
thank you,
way,
KRS.
because
Exactly. But for the rest of the world, it was in fact the Barbenheimer weekend, and just domestically, this is just in America, mind you, more than $300 million were made at the box office, which is just insane, just literally insane.
yes. Quick
Franco.
quick disclaimer though. Apparently people are not suggesting doing the Barbenheimer. But if I had to do it, I would first watch Oppenheimer, have lunch, and then watch Barbie. That's how
Really?
would
I think
yeah.
I'd want some time to think about Oppenheimer. I don't think I could watch a movie after Oppenheimer. I'd struggle. I think I'd struggle.
It's now it's theoretical. I mean, we can go and watch it again anyway. We've got to watch movies again this weekend and see if it happens. I'd love to see both movies again. I mean, I'm so glad I watched them in the cinemas. I'm really happy, like getting back in the cinema screens. Like
I'm gonna watch Oppenheimer tomorrow, actually, again.
Oh, okay. Where?
Yeah. This time, Eden. I'm going to watch it with
Eden.
some
Okay.
friends.
4K as well.
Apparently, it's 4K. Yes.
Yeah. They said it's 4K.
You watched it in Embassy, Franco?
Yes, in Embassy.
All right. How was it in Embassy?
Okay. Again, it's like this movie, like Joe said, this has to be watched on IMAX. So that's the black, but the black and white photography, Madonna, so crisp and so good. And like I said, my major qualm about this movie was the experience, having had the intermission. And anyway, we'll speak later because I found it to be divisive, as well. I'll tell you my thoughts.
All right. But Robert
otherwise,
Downey Jr. never looked this good.
Oh my God, so good! But look, there was the whole cast. Let's wait.
No. Apart from his amazing performance, I was talking about like you were saying, the black and white image was so crisp, man, so beautiful,
so good.
Robert Downey Jr. and looked incredible. But moving on to this, so like we said, Barbie and Ken absolutely smashed through box office predictions with an astonishing $162 million take, above Sunday's estimate of $155 million, which was already record-breaking. Declined just 9% from Saturday's take. That's insane. Like, the decline from Saturday to Sunday usually is much bigger than that. Same thing for Oppenheimer, because apparently Oppenheimer, IMAX cinemas are sold out for weeks. Weeks. Already sold out. So, I mean, this is incredible. Like, this is the fourth biggest weekend. And I think this is just the boost Hollywood needed before, obviously, the disaster that's going to come in the next few months. Because now we know the Sag-Aftra strike, it's going to be a barren wasteland.
And like I said, don't tell me AI can write these two movies. Don't tell me AI can write these two movies.
No way.
Jihalla. It's there. I think there were such smart movies in their own terms. There were very smart movies in their own terms, and it's worthwhile. And many people, it was so nice seeing people going in pink watching Barbie. It's such an experience. And there was a good community feeling in the cinema as well.
Yes. And the Barbie one, I agree. And the Oppenheimer one,
no, Oppenheimer
pissed off extra with some people.
No. And I tell you why, because I was pissed off myself as well. I think there. I'll let you know why. Anyway, because we have more Barbie news actually.
Yes. But this time, unfortunately, not very positive news. So exactly after I watched Barbie, I went onto Twitter. Let me find my tweet.
Not her, please, not her.
I went onto Twitter, to tweet exactly what I was afraid of. That given the success that Barbie has had, I cannot wait to see. Let me see if I find it. see if I find it. Let me see if I find it. There we are. So let me share it with you. Now this is exactly after the movie without any context. So this was my tweet. You just know Hollywood will take all the wrong messages from Barbie's incredible box office results. And in fact, that's exactly what they did. Because here we go.
I like the church bell for dramatic effect.
After dominating the box office and breaking records with Barbie, Mattel has officially arrived in Hollywood. Anyways, long story short, we've got a bunch of different IP-driven movies coming up, all based on different Mattel toys. Starting off with Barney, which apparently Daniel Kaluuya has been working on for quite some time. I mean, this looks interesting. We discussed it already, so we don't need to spend too much time on this. But then we start off with Polly Pocket, writer director Lena Dunham.
Lena Dunham, why?
Oh boy.
Why?
Hot Wheels, J.J. Abrams. Rock'em Sock'em Robots, with Vin Diesel starring, and Ryan Engel, I don't know who this is, writing. American Girl, Magic 8 Ball.
At least Masters of the Universe. Of Universe. Okay.
I can see a nice animated movie being made there, for example.
Who knows? But even I think they can go Masters of Universe. Imagine if they go the direction of Waititi's Thor. Lalo, what was that? Not Love and Thunder.
Ragnarok.
If they go through that direction, I'm in. But this is greedy, this is really, really greedy, man.
One second, Franco, there's more. Major Matt Mason.
Madonna.
Who's that one? I don't know who that is. Major Matt Mason. Uno. Wishbone. Matchbox. Thomas and Friends. Viewmaster. Christmas Balloon. Like, what the?
No, that's...
This is the most awkward one. Because I read all of these, not based on a toy. So this is Christmas Balloon, not based on a toy, but based on a true story of when Mattel donated toys to help make a young girl's dream come true after she tied her Christmas list to a balloon that was found by a grieving couple who worked with the toy company to fulfill the girl's wishes. Mattel looks to produce a family drama drawing from the story. Like, Jesus, suck your cock a bit more.
Yeah, very. She's no Ouroboros of Mattel. I mean, it's too much.
After Barbie. And Barbie, listen, as much as I know deep down that it's still a corporate-made movie, there were some jokes here and there directed at Mattel, which were fun, which made it, fun.
I think now what Mattel was going to do is they're gonna like take control back of the narrative. There's not going to be something as good as Barbie.
I doubt it, because
for sure,
to have something like Barbie, first of all, it was the first one. So thankfully, it seems like, at least from what I saw and from what I've read, it seems like creative control was firmly in her hands, even when executives tried to remove certain scenes, like the scene where they see what's her name, the old lady who's the Barbie's creator, her daughter was Barbara, her daughter. When she calls her beautiful and she says, "I know," like that scene, the executives wanted to remove that scene apparently, and she insisted Madonna. That was the heart of the whole movie, and she was right, in fact.
That old lady is the actual Barbie.
That's Barbara. Yes. And the executives wanted to remove that scene. They said it was a waste of time. And Greta Gerwig insisted that, listen, this is the heart of the movie. You can't remove this scene.
Cristo Hanenalla. I mean, we're there anyway. I think most of our foreign audiences are learning some Maltese swearing. This is the cultural episode.
But this is disgusting. Like this is, oh my god.
I mean, even Greta Gerwig said she's not interested in doing a follow up.
Exactly.
At least so far, but it's like it's disgusting. Yes, it's disgusting. That's a great word to use.
And you don't watch Red Letter Media, right, Franco?
No, there's
Red Letter Media, in 2019, because I saw a tweet from them in 2019. They used to make this very very this podcast to make fun of all the different podcasts where they're like, oh, Marvel movies, oh, we're so excited about Marvel, or basically sell out to Disney basically, and so they make fun of them. They're like, oh, get consume product and get excited for next product. And they make these kind of quick quippy jokes and so on. And they had one particular podcast where they were pretending, obviously, to be excited about Hasbro toys, about Hasbro making movies about different toys. This was in 2019, and they retweeted it and they're like, "Yeah, here we arrived.
Here we are."
And listen, it seems like. From what there was a really nice joke in their review for Oppenheimer. They said they tried to get into they're both like 50-year-olds. They said they tried to get into Barbie, but they were kicked out because people thought they were pedophiles in a Barbie screening. So they watched Oppenheimer instead.
Yeah. No, it was kind of the same for me. It's like, what the hell am I doing here? I went to watch it alone.
Okay. At least I had Christian with me, so it was.
Yeah, I mean, but then there was a guy next to me. He's like, yeah, I really like what he said. Yeah, he liked Ryan Gosling. He likes watching the notes. It's like, oh, okay, interesting.
Interesting. Okay.
I know.
But so there's not much to say about this. I mean, God. I'm glad
please,
Mattel are picking up.
Maybe we'll see Kaluuya's what's coming up.
This one seems interesting because you've got a talented guy leading it and producing it. So Barney, it's Barney. I grew up watching Barney. I mean, it looks like it's going to be an interesting one. The rest, I'm not as confident. Polly Pocket with Lena Dunham writing and directing. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Save me.
Anyway.
But to conclude our news, a little bit of news. For me, this is a non-issue, like I said to you before, Franco. But I think it's important to mention still. So, as our viewers and listeners will know, Hugh Grant was casted as the Oompa Loompa, the main Oompa Loompa in Wonka. We reacted to the trailer a few weeks ago, I believe. And George Coppin, whose credits include the Willow series, said that performers with dwarfism are being pushed out of the industry we love. A lot of people, this is obviously George Coppin commenting about it. A lot of people, myself included, argue that dwarves should be offered everyday roles in dramas and soaps, but we aren't getting offered those roles. One door is being closed, but they have forgotten to open the next one.
Dave, just a second. Yes, continue.
Dave enlarged his head, so his head looks bigger. I thought, what the hell have you done to him? I was really just thinking about, and this is a comment by King, who is the director. I was really just thinking about that character, we're obviously referring to the Oompa Loompa, somebody who could be a real shit, and then Hugh, because he's the funniest, most sarcastic shit I've ever met. And to be honest, I agree with the director here, because Hugh Grant is really the funniest, most sarcastic shit I've ever met. If you watch Dungeons and Dragons, which I recently did as well, you can see a very sarcastic Hugh Grant, who, if that's what they want, that is the perfect casting for me.
But then again, in all honesty, why would you want to be an Oompa Loompa? In all genuine honesty,
I don't know.
Why would you want that role? I'm sorry, genuinely, I don't understand. Why would you want that role?
It's an Oompa Loompa. It's not a dwarf, to be honest. Because if this was a dwarf, I would agree with him.
That's one thing. And wouldn't it be more problematic if you were cast as an Oompa Loompa? It's like this. There was this magic Negro trope as well. It's like when back in the Disney days, where it were like the magical Negro trope. Why? No, it
Listen,
doesn't
I'm
make
all
sense.
for representation. Like last week, we commented about having. What did we mention last week about the James Bond? About the James Bond casting. I'm
You
all for representation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for representation. But this is. I don't think this is something to create a hubbub about.
I mean, in all honesty, I'd rather, like I said, Imnalla, they didn't offer him the role because it would backfire big time. And like, I mean, if anything, we've seen, to be honest, now, like we've seen the new Snow White. There was a cast photo. That would be a problem, unless because it's in the title.
Yes.
That's
That's an awkward one, huh? That's an
that's
awkward one.
that's the fucking title, and you don't cast actors with dwarfism. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's an awkward one. That's an awkward one indeed. Let me see if I can find the image for that. Oh, found it. So let me share it with our viewers. Listeners, we're going to be obviously reacting to the cast. Basically, this is a cast photo for Disney's live action Snow White. Here we go.
There's just the there's
one dwarf basically.
One, two,
dwarf.
yeah.
Two there are.
There's apparently one in front of the actor with dwarfism.
But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Aren't they 7?
Okay, so who's there? There's an extra. I don't know.
Anyways, so just one actor, one actor, unfortunately.
Anyway.
Yep, it's a weird one. This is a very awkward one. This doesn't look good. Even the costumes look, wow, really bad. But can't comment before we see the actual trailer, at least.
True. And we missed any news, comments down below. If you know of any news that we should be taking care of, looking into, let us know. And even if you have some stories, because we've heard really, I was contacted by someone with a very alarming story, which has become very commonplace in Malta. If you want to comment and to reach out to us, please do, and we'll investigate.
Definitely. So, Franco, I have a question for you. So, you said you prefer watching Oppenheimer first and then Barbie after, right? If you had to do a Barbenheimer weekend.
I think I would do it like that.
But if I had to ask you, which do you prefer to review first, Oppenheimer or Barbie? What would you say?
Is this going to be a spoiler-heavy review of both movies?
Yes.
So, viewers and listeners, this is going to be a spoiler-heavy review.
I think for Oppenheimer we can spoil. Barbie, we don't really need to spoil. I don't think Barbie. Do we need to spoil for Barbie?
It depends.
I mean, Oppenheimer, we're going to spoil it. Yeah, like we said at the start, the bomb works, right?
Yeah, exactly.
and Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
But let's start with Oppenheimer.
But before we start with Oppenheimer, Joe couldn't make it today. However, now I will be sharing with you Joe's review for Oppenheimer, which I had to edit a little bit because Joe fluffed many times. So this is Joe's review.
Hello, everyone, especially to Andrea and Franco. I'm coming to you live. Well, not live. This obviously isn't live. You'll be listening to it because it's pre-recorded from St. Andrews in Scotland. I'm very busy with work. I'm away this week from the guys at the Dear Podcast, the Ad Lib Podcast, my favorite podcast, my only podcast. And I still managed to watch some things. To move on to Oppenheimer, I will say from the off, big Christopher Nolan fan, but I'm not going to say he's without his merit of his criticisms, because Tenet was a film I didn't really like. I liked the idea of Tenet, but its execution was extremely flawed. And I will admit that he has an act to be a little bit obvious. He goes for spectacle sometimes over plot, which is not always a bad thing because cinematic experience is definitely important. But I am a fan of his filmmaking, and I won't obviously hide that. But obviously very excited for Oppenheimer, especially because this was the first time Cillian Murphy was properly starring in a Christopher Nolan film, which has definitely been a long time coming. There's also a gigantic cast like of heavy hitters alongside him, and this film does something which I was really worried about beforehand. The main thing I was worried about is it's a film about J. Robert Oppenheimer, the creator of the atomic bomb, and we, without knowing who Oppenheimer is, we all know that story because I don't think there's a person on Earth that doesn't know that atomic bombs were dropped during World War II by the Americans. We know how this story ends. But the fact that Christopher Nolan created this film, and even the whole time they're getting to the detonation of the bomb, this is not if someone accuses me of spoiling this film because they detonate an atomic bomb in it, you're a fucking idiot. Like, you don't know anything about the world, and you should go read a fucking history book. But the fact that Nolan can do something like this based on a true story, and the whole time I've still got a lump in my throat about like what's going to happen, is phenomenal. I don't think there's a filmmaker out there that like does it as well as Nolan does in racking up the tension. And it's a combination of directorial flair and soundtrack and performances and everything. And that's what Oppenheimer is. Now, my short review is I absolutely fucking loved this film. It has shot straight to the top of my best film of the year. And I genuinely think it's one of the best films of the last 5 years. Easily. I think it might be Nolan's best. Just because, like, thinking about it now, for me, it's obviously my opinion, there is nothing I don't love about this film. For me, this is where Nolan his ambition has finally, I would actually say his know-how and his craft has finally met the ambition that he wanted to. This is his fully fleshed out film where he the way he crosscuts and mixes up timelines and stuff like that. There's all of that in this film. His playfulness with time. There's and there's like the tension and the soundtrack throughout, like particularly the soundtrack by like Ludwig Göransson, is incredible. And the way like Nolan uses it to build tension or even just like do more like tender moments is like it's a master at work. I don't think anyone can deny that Nolan is a master when it comes to directing. And here with Oppenheimer, I just don't understand how he did this, because this isn't like something like The Dark Knight or even Dunkirk, where at least for The Dark Knight, there's some talking in that film. But Dunkirk is essentially all action for its 1.5-hour runtime. This is a 3-hour film with virtually no action in it. It's extremely talky. It's kind of like, it's like if Christopher Nolan was trying to do something. I know it's been said before. It's like he's trying to do like The Social Network, something like that. But then bits of it towards the end are kind of like if he's doing 12 Angry Men. You know, like he's really, really gone beyond what he normally does, and he's really found a way to refine everything, and he's not being as overindulgent as I think he normally is. To speak for the cast in particular, I think Cillian Murphy is nailed on, probably best actor so far from what we've seen this year. But the real one here, who I was like, I'm so happy to just see him acting again. And you're going to think he's someone that doesn't turn. You're probably going to think I'm going to say Josh Hartnett, and Josh Hartnett is good in this film. But the person I'm happy to see finally acting again, and he's clearly enjoying himself, and all the press he's done for this film, he had a great fucking time, and he's fantastic in this role, is Robert Downey Jr. Where have you been for the last 15 fucking years? And I liked Iron Man and Tony Stark in the Marvel films, and I liked Robert Downey Jr. in those roles. But seeing him here, you're just like, my man, why were you so restricted to do what you do best? He is fantastic in this film. Everyone else is great as well. Florence Pugh doesn't have to do all that much, but still really, really good. Emily Blunt has a massive time to shine, and probably the first time I would say Nolan has done a female character justice. Now, a lot of people would say like, oh, well, like her role isn't that big. What I say to those people is, I'm sorry, the film is called Oppenheimer, not Oppenheimer's wife. It's like it's going to be more about the main character than it is about his wife. And to me, that just makes sense. But yes, it's good that you feel the impact from Emily Blunt in this film still, without her feeling very wooden and tropey and stupid. And yeah, I think a really interesting thing about this film is just kind of its arc and how you could, in a way, compare it to Christopher Nolan. I won't claim that I've invented this kind of train of thought, but I've heard a few people talk about it, and I really like where it goes, because Oppenheimer starts as this kind of arrogant, really self-assured younger scientist, to then kind of coming to terms with what he's created and will people understand. And I feel like that's, in a way, you could parallel that to Nolan as well. But I guess you could kind of, it's almost like an exploration on like life. You could go there as a teenager, you could be more arrogant when you were young, cockier in a way. I think everyone is, you have that invincibility. But then I think as you get older, that's when you start to become more contemplative. And that's what this film represents really well, I thought. It does have a very obvious message, and a lot of people are like, oh, like the last minute is like really hammering down a point that didn't need to be hammered down. I also say, like, shut up to those people, because I don't think you can make a film about the creation of the atomic bomb which is subtle, because it's the least subtle event in human history. Like, I almost think it's appropriate to be unsubtle with it. But that is just me. To conclude, I loved it. Like, I really, really, really loved it. I will definitely be seeing it again. I saw it in IMAX, and I will catch a 70mm screening as soon as possible to watch it again, because it's very dense, and I know I'm going to see more the next time round. And this is one where, if you don't watch this in a theater, you don't like films. I'm sorry. There's no excuse. It demands to be seen in the darkest room possible, with the biggest screen, with the best sound system that's available. And I guarantee anyone who loves a film will find something to love and admire in this film. It's probably going to be, it would be a crime at this point if it's not up there in the Oscars. And I think it definitely will be in contention. And that's my review of Oppenheimer.
All right, guys. So that is Joe's review for Oppenheimer. I disagree completely with him. No. I actually agree pretty much with everything he said. However, now, Franco, I'm going to hear your thoughts on Oppenheimer, and I'm going to share it on the screen now.
So, Oppenheimer, the story of the physicist who was a crucial part of the Manhattan Project, the project that developed the A-bomb that was dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We all know what went down. Now, like I said before, this movie and Barbie gives me even more reason to hate Wes Anderson because Nolan, and this is why Nolan really swung left again. I think much of the disappointment. I saw some people leaving during the intermission of Oppenheimer. I think because they expected some huge action set piece. In fact, it's a really riveting drama about how America gobbles you up and chews you out, spits you out, like. And I didn't know of certain aspects of Oppenheimer and his political leanings, even though he wasn't even part of the Communist Party, so to speak. So that was really interesting. I want to watch it again. The movie was growing on me. The movie keeps growing and growing on me, and how stacked the cast is, how committed the cast is. Like the actor I mentioned, Michael Angarno. Oh, there was, I actually the person who stole the show, in my opinion, is Robert Downey Jr. more than Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, I agree. I
Um,
agree on that.
I think Cillian Murphy was too muted of a performance sometimes.
No, I'll disagree on that though. I thought Cillian Murphy was brilliant. Just Robert Downey Jr. was out of this world.
No, okay. I mean, Cillian Murphy. No, just to say, just to be clear, he did hold the movie together, but Robert Downey Jr. steals the show in this one for sure. As Louis Strauss, oh my god,
That scene in his office when he loses it, kind of,
ooh,
when his hate for Oppenheimer comes out, that scene was
and
brilliant.
that's so good. I mean, there's also like Truman, the actor who plays Truman is also good.
Yes, that's true. Who was the actor for Truman, actually?
Gary Oldman.
What?
That was Gary Oldman.
You're joking, right?
No, I'm not joking. You didn't realize it was Gary Oldman.
No.
Wait.
What? You're joking, right?
No, I'm not joking. That was Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman plays President Truman. Another fantastic scene. I think this was a movie with really great scenes.
La 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 la.
The guy who plays Robert Rod, was it Roger Rod or Robert Rod?
I don't remember that, Franco. Let me see if I can find in the cast.
There was Macon Blair as well. Macon Blair, who Jason Clarke. Jason Clarke
Roger
was
Robb.
great.
Roger Robb, yeah.
Roger Robb, that's amazing. Macon Blair. For those of you know, there was a very great thriller. The same guy who directed Green Room. I think Blue Ruin. I think it's called Blue Ruin. The movie,
I
Macon
haven't
Blair.
watched it.
It's a really good performance by him. It's nice to see him in with Nolan as this
The
is
cast, man, the cast is insane.
so
Going to.
stacked.
What do you think
So
about Emily Blunt? I really liked Emily Blunt.
I
thought
liked
the
I liked
her final moments were superb.
excellent, and it's I think so. I have a theory. I think many of the Nolan boys were disappointed that one of the major scenes was given to Emily Blunt. That it had to be that it actually had to be Oppenheimer's wife to say, you know what, they give him the last fuck you. Benny Safdie was good. Benny Safdie, I was worried. I was speaking to Francesca Vella, friend of the show. I was worried that his accent was going to teeter a bit onto the caricature, but it didn't. He really carried like Benny Safdie. I'm becoming even more impressed with his work.
So I think overall we can agree that the performances through the whole boy. I don't think there was one performance where I was like,
No.
and Matt Damon brought some humanity to his role. I like that a lot.
God.
Like
So
he
good.
was a very much needed actor in this movie to bring some humanity, because I loved Cillian Murphy's performance, but his character is what it is. It is a bit of a robot. I mean, here we're talking about a brilliant physicist, and we know how these kinds of brilliant physicists are not usually the most human-like people. But Matt Damon really brings a certain. You know how Matt Damon is. If you've watched any of his movies, you know how lovable his characters usually is. He's charisma personified. He brings the jokes. He passes these like dad jokes, which make everyone laugh. He's the perfect casting for that role. I really liked his inclusion in this.
Yes.
As General Leslie Groves.
Leslie Groves.
So overall, I think we agree, right, Franco? That I mean, pretty much every performance was pitch perfect. I think in this movie.
Yes, even
Kenneth
Kenneth Branagh,
Branagh,
Rami Malek as well. Rami Malek. Yeah,
surprisingly brilliant in his 5 minutes.
Yes, it's this. I think I would say maybe you agree with me, because even Florence Pugh, it's all. There's a bit of a risk of this movie being like, oh, look who it is, look who it is. That takes you a bit out of the story. There's so much cast in this like star-studded cast that it might take you out a bit from the movie.
Did it happen to you, Franco?
No, it didn't happen to me, because I was aware of the cast. But if you go in and you weren't aware of the cast, you'd be like, "Ah, Florence Pugh, Malik," you know.
I was too engrossed in the story, like I was completely engrossed in it for this to happen to me.
I will repeat it again. Never have I ever fucking hated an intermission so much, because this movie, like, I was starting to feeling this movie almost halfway through. It's like, oh my god, this is growing now. This is growing. I was feeling the tension.
When was the intermission, Franco?
I forgot. Like, I genuinely forgot. I think it's just before the bomb.
Oh my god, no.
I think it was just before the bomb.
The
Yes.
worst moment. Because as someone who watched the movie, so for our viewers and listeners, I watched the movie in Gozo in the Citadel Cinema. I went with my workmates there. We took a nice little trip to Gozo to watch it. Fortunately, there was no intermission. However, I must say the sound was not great, and that did slightly ruin the movie for me. The bass, especially, something goes off with the bass in the cinema, which is a pity, because the screen is beautiful. It's a beautiful 4K screen, but the sound, something goes off with the sound. Anyways, so I had no intermission, and I'm very happy there was no intermission, because that's the way Nolan wanted it. Because the movie clearly is a build-up. You start off, and even the music signifies the build-up. You have the building of tension, because by the moment, spoiler, they do the test of the nuclear bomb, and the build-up to the firing of the test nuclear bomb. That was insane. The tension. I could see people next to me, everyone with their mouths open. Everyone's like holding their seat. I was like, and the moment when it happens, that silence and hearing Cillian Murphy breathing and those ticks, that was insane. Like, the tension in the cinema was palpable.
Such a great set piece, and the blast, the aftershock.
And you have those moments of silence, and then suddenly boom! Ah, man. that was incredible. That was cinema, and this is cinema in the Martin Scorsese meme. That is cinema. No, this is cinema. But it's not just because I was worried. But after the test bomb, like, is it going to slow down and maybe become
no.
Funnily enough, the final hour of the movie was the best part for me personally.
Yes.
Was the best part. This scene, Franco, I don't know, probably you'll agree with me on this. I think this scene, when you have all the workers, all the people who worked on the bomb and their families all clapping as Cillian Murphy gives the speech, and he's telling them, and the Japanese felt it.
Yes. Oh.
And the effects there, that was insane. I think that must be one of Nolan's best scenes, one of the best scenes he's ever filmed.
It's like I said, I think people went in expecting some kind of action, but this is a great psychological drama.
Yes.
Psychological drama. Yes. I called it, I forgot who said this. I don't know if it's Stuckman, but someone called it The Social Network, but for the nuclear bomb.
And Red Letter Media called it Christopher Nolan's 12 Angry Men.
It's true. Yes, I that came to my mind as well. 12 Angry Men. That really came to my mind, because
now Red Letter Media they love the movie. They're very big cinema nerds, but they loved it. So they agreed that this is a fantastic movie.
Yeah,
and they made fun of the Nolan fanboys who are like, it's a good movie, but it's not as good as Inception. Inception is great. Because obviously this movie did not have the action that Inception had. So they made
No,
fun of the troglodytes.
no. I saw some of those in my screening as well. It's like, I didn't understand it. How could you not understand this, such a simple story? I mean,
No,
you
the
would.
story is simple.
That's simple. Oh, I mean,
But Franco, I had a question I want to ask you. What do you think about the opening, like 20, 25 minutes? I was put off a little bit in the first opening 20, 25 minutes.
yeah, it was kind of
The
fast.
editing was a bit too, like, frantic for me.
But
do you think?
but it sets the pace. It sets the pace. I think it's. But I could identify when you start thinking about something and you obsess over it. I think the editing showed that. I feel like.
Okay. All right. Okay. Because this
I
the
mean,
first 20, 25 minutes, put me off a little bit.
it can be disorienting. Yes,
It was a bit disorienting for me. And then when I settled into it and like I got used to the pace of the movie, then it was fine. Like especially once they start talking about unions and so on, there I was fully into it and I was fully engrossed
yes.
into all the politics of it. I was surprised by how political it was as well. Like obviously this is political, like the whole of it, but how left leaning it all was. That was a big surprise for me.
Yes, it's like usually Nolan is centrist, quite centrist, but this was very
Yes.
on the left, especially with the last. Even Einstein. We're forgetting Einstein, man.
They brought Einstein back from the grave for this because that was Einstein. That was not an actor. That was Einstein.
So good, man. The actor of Einstein and.
He was brilliant. Yeah.
And the last line when he says like, "I think we did it." Oh my god, there were so many good lines of this one.
I was surprised. Andres from Prickly Pear, he said he really disliked the final part, the final scene.
The final scene remind me.
Which was that scene with Einstein where he said, "I think we destroyed the world's part," and then there's the scene with the world being destroyed, basically. I thought that was very symbolic.
That was very symbolic and very apt. It's like we forgot how many nuclear warheads we have around the world, and
Listen, it's not subtle, but this movie does not need to be subtle.
But
you cannot be subtle about the atomic bomb. Let's put it that way.
That's one thing, and I think now, which also connects to Barbie, especially with the monologue of America Ferrera. I think we're done with subtlety. I think we need it because it's even when you spell it out, some people don't get it now. So I think subtlety it's a bit. Let's say sometimes it's needed, nuance is needed, but it can get overrated.
Franco, I have one final question to ask you. Sorry, you were going to add something else?
No, go for it.
Any negatives from the movie? So my negative was that the opening 20 minutes for me were a little off-putting until I got used to the pace. And then it was like, yes, I got used to it and I was fine.
There was something about the sex scenes. I did feel I did feel it a bit off. When that I think I did one that I found most on the nose was when they speak about Florence Pugh's character Jean, and he had to show her in the scene as well as like her having sex while she's looking directly to Kitty's, to Emily Blunt's character, to Kitty. I found that a bit like superfluous. You really didn't need it, to be honest.
That's where maybe you need a bit more subtlety in your movie.
Yes, that was. I mean, Florence Pugh looks amazing in this movie. That was the only scene that I was like, okay, this is superfluous. But the other ones, like I was expecting something even more in your face. Well, it's like, I mean, this guy looked like a superstar physicist back in the day. Oh, that's an interesting angle as well, where like physicists were being superstars, and now they're like, yeah, no, because I saw this on the internet. Fuck you, physicists.
He was quite the womanizer, Astra.
Yep. So that's worse and all. I think that's the only negative. Otherwise, I can see that it can be disorienting because it's a for it to be a 3 hour movie, it's very fast paced. It's very fast
Very, very
paced,
fast paced.
very swift.
Did you ever get bored, Franco? I never got bored, to be honest with you. I was like constantly engrossed throughout the whole 3 hours.
It grew on me. It grew on me. It kept on growing on me. That's. I think it takes a bit. It takes some time to get into it, but once you're into it, you're in for the ride. Huh? And I think I could see what kind of structure Nolan wanted to.
Yes.
Because it's interesting, like you said, it's like you'd expect the peak to come when they test the bomb.
Nope.
It was a peak, but then there was
a
another peak.
But then there's another peak. Yeah. I love the structure of the movie. The structure of the movie, the way he structured the movie, I think, is probably the thing I liked most about it. The way you have the build up, bomb, but then build up, boom, and the court scene and the Robert Downey Jr. Rant, and that was insane. That was really good. I had goosebumps throughout most of this movie, like some of the dialogue, some of the visuals in it.
Yes.
The tension throughout. I had goosebumps throughout the whole. This is an experience.
By the way, this is a spoiler. You think Fuchs really was the spy because since it was Louis Strauss who said so?
Good question. I don't know.
Because
It's impossible to say. Like
because that was really like one of the question marks, especially with like Louis Strauss saying it's like,
I don't know, Franco. You haven't read the book, right?
No, please suggest
Prometheus.
me the book. No,
Prometheus.
I have to read. It was based on Prometheus.
It's called Prometheus.
Actually, I might suggest a very interesting take on the Manhattan Project. Excuse me. It's a graphic novel called The Manhattan Project, and it would make for a great movie where basically Einstein, Oppenheimer, and Fermi, they're like Avengers-like characters. But it's a really interesting. I think I hope I haven't sold it because I would love to read them again. It's called The Manhattan Project.
The Prometheus is an interesting title because in Greek mythology, Prometheus is one of the Titans, the supreme trickster and a god of fire. Common belief he developed into a master craftsman, and in this connection, he was associated with fire and the creation of mortals.
He brings fire to humanity, and he was punished for it.
Exactly, and he was punished for it. So it's interesting. It's a very, very interesting parallel there.
It's a very apt analogy. Very apt analogy.
Anyways, Franco, to conclude, your rating out of 5?
4.5 of 5.
Okay, interesting. No, I'm a full 5. I'm a full 5. But by the way, because yesterday I had this discussion with my workmates, because when they asked me for my rating, I told them 5, and I told them, listen, 5 doesn't mean it's a perfect movie. There's no perfect movie.
That's why I said 4.5 on 5. You know?
5 for me is a masterpiece, because in my opinion, this is a masterpiece. This is, in my opinion, Christopher Nolan's magnum opus. I don't see him ever topping this, in my opinion.
It's for me. It's again going back to what I said in the beginning. It's a good swing by Nolan. Like, well done, Nolan. Well done. What's his name? Well done, Ari Aster. Well done, Gerwig. And well done, Damien Chazelle with Babylon as well. Because they took risks. This movie is going to be divisive for the simple reason, like you said, like the Nolan fuckboys thinking there's going to be some kind of inception. And it's really interesting how many of these fuckboys really lost the message of this movie.
Yes, and Franco, I was telling you about the audience during the movie. Like, there were a lot of people on their phones. A lot of people on their phones during this movie. Like, I could see a lot of people distracted. Like, the attention span for many people. Like, I was talking about Tokyo Story before. Listen, I love movies. Some movies do lose me. Like, I know Tokyo Story is an incredibly made movie, beautifully made. There were some moments where it lost me. Also, the heat did not help because it was fucking 42 degrees, 40 degrees, 41, 42 degrees. I don't know what it was.
Next time, read the book. Go.
But with Oppenheimer, I don't see how this can lose you. Like,
No,
it's so fast paced. It's so fast paced. But anyways, I think we've talked enough about
yes,
Oppenheimer.
yes.
So for me, it's a 5 out of 5. Must watch. Go watch it in the cinema. Definitely support
And
Christopher Nolan.
go watch it without an intermission. I hope the Godzilla Theater fixed the bass issue.
Their base, which is a pity.
And here's something you want to know. I disagree like 99.9% with Mario Filipazzo Party, but there's one thing I agree about him, what he said, that apparently intermissions in Malta are illegal. They shouldn't be happening.
Oh,
Yep.
shit.
That they shouldn't be happening because I don't think there's anywhere in the world where there's an intermission. In Korea, there wasn't an intermission, and as far as I know, in Berlin there wasn't an intermission. That's where another place I saw a movie.
I'm gonna be so upset, Tom. I know I'm gonna be so upset when they do an intermission right before the bombs, the test bomb. So I'm going to flip out because the build up to that is so important for the pace of this movie. Oh my God.
It's exactly before the test. So they managed to gather as much uranium they needed, and then it stops there. It's like
oh my God, I'm gonna be so upset.
It fucked with its tempo so much, and people just it's like and people obviously just left too. Like these guys that were expecting another Inception.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. I'm so excited as well to talk about this movie. Obviously, I'm a Barbie girl. To Barbie
in a Barbie world. Please don't demonetize us. Mattel, don't sue us.
Did you see my outfit, Franco, for Barbie?
No, I haven't seen it. My pink shirt was not as pink. It was full of sweat, though. Madonna,
So this is my outfit. 1 second. So my girlfriend wanted to take a photo of me. So this is my outfit. That's me walking in with pink into embassy, and that's me. Spoiler, I give this movie a 5 out of 5. That's me.
Oh my God.
But, Franco, one second before you start, Franco. Because Joe also gave us the review for Barbie. So here are Joe's thoughts on Barbie.
Before I get into the reviews, I will start with Barbie first, and I will go into Oppenheimer. But the one thing I do want to say first is it has been almost breathtaking to see the cultural phenomenon around these two films unfold. I've lived in Scotland now just over 2 years, and granted, some of that was still like post-pandemic and stuff like that, but there have been big film releases since I've been living in the country. I mean, there was the Batman, there was Top Gun Maverick, there have been a few Marvel films as well, but I haven't seen anything like the last weekend at a movie theater. Like, so much so that I didn't think it was going to be that bad, so I tried to book tickets for these two films on the Tuesday before they came out. And for Barbie, I couldn't find tickets anywhere on the Friday. I wanted to watch it on the Friday. Luckily, the theater my girlfriend and I wanted to go to they actually opened an extra screening that was later in the evening in order to show the film more often, and we got tickets to that one. Same for Oppenheimer, because I wanted to see it in IMAX. I did see it in IMAX eventually. I also wanted to see it on the Friday, but it just wasn't possible. The best seats I found weren't until Sunday. And then even getting to the theaters, like the amount of people in pink, and I did see a couple of people like in full like suits and fedoras as well, going to these films, being just completely wrapped up in the phenomenon that this has been. It's been really cool, and it's also really good for the industry. I mean, the box office has had one of its I think its fourth best weekend ever, I think. But yeah, that was my point. It was just really cool and like nice to see. It kind of felt like, I remember back in the day in Malta, I used to go to midnight screenings, and they'd always be packed of like a Star Wars film or something like that. I remember The Dark Knight Rises when I went to. like pushing probably 15 years ago now. But yeah, that was great. But yeah, I'll go into my review of Barbie. Barbie, obviously extremely anticipated. Greta Gerwig, Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling. The first trailer was incredible with the 2001 stuff. The second trailer could reveal a little bit more. I still didn't really know what I wanted or to expect from this film, but I knew I was excited to watch it just because of who was involved. And I was not disappointed at all. In fact, I think it slightly exceeded my expectations, because I always knew it was probably going to be pretty good, because obviously with that kind of talent, you don't tend to get something bad. But I was surprised just by like how out and out of a comedy it is, but then how thoughtful it is at the same time. Like, I mean, consistently, this is definitely like the film that I've seen in cinemas where everyone laughed throughout the film, the whole time, and the whole audience. Every joke landed, and it was just a laugh a minute kind of thing. And that's a really difficult thing to do, and it's from two people that like aren't really known for comedy at all. I mean, Greta Gerwig's known for like Lady Bird and Little Women, and it's like one of those is like a coming of age, really, really small indie film, and the other one is an adaptation of a really famous like novel. Not really known for her comedic touch, and the same goes for Noah Baumbach as well. But this is really, really like, firstly, meta, and just really funny the whole way through. Like, Ryan Gosling had me like in tears multiple times, and like, to speak about Ryan Gosling, he is fantastic in this film. Before, the whole cast are really, really good. Like, particularly Margot Robbie, is her ability to just like cry on demand is ridiculous. I don't think there's anyone better at the moment that's doing that. But I think I have to say, I think Ryan Gosling steals the show by about 10% here with what he's doing with Ken. Just like, you can tell he's just so in it at all times, and I love that aspect of the film. My other favorite aspect is just the production design and the set design is incredible, mostly practical from what I can see. I think he would like even utilize stuff like map paintings and stuff, and it's just good old-fashioned filmmaking. These were sets in a studio, on sound stages, what I like to see. And it's really cool to see the evolution of Greta Gerwig from that smaller like indie director to taking on a beloved novel to now this giant bombastic, really meta kind of satire-y thing that we have, which has broken the box office this weekend and like broken the world for a little bit. Like, if you told me we were going to get a film supported by a mega corporation that lets the artist run free and take down the mega corporation in it, I would have told you you're fucking mad. Like, Disney would never attempt something like this. And now people will say like, oh, like, especially they'll come at me probably. Andrea will definitely come at me being like, oh, like, you didn't like Air because it's just a 2-hour really expensive advert for a Nike Air shoe. This is different because you can argue that this is an ad for Barbie. You absolutely can argue that because it's IP and it's representing Barbie. Obviously, they're going to sell more toys off of this, even though it's a 12A film and kids can't really see it. But Air was a celebration of a business deal that Nike did when they signed Michael Jordan. Barbie is telling a heartfelt and really funny story whilst also touching on a lot of societal topics. It's not celebrating the company's achievements. It's actually kind of pointing out the company's flaws in all of this. That's where it's different. And that's where I can actually get behind it, despite it being supported by this mega corporation, which is Mattel. I kind of respect that they're willing to be like, look, take the piss out of us, we're willing to take the hit. It's very self-aware, and it could be false, it could be real, it could be that they're trying to do this in order to make themselves more self-aware, make themselves a better company through doing this. But this has shown that they're willing to throw money at someone really creative and just let them do their own fucking thing. And we're not used to seeing that in Hollywood. We're just not. Like I said, Disney would never, ever do something anywhere close to this in terms of like jokes close to the bone about the company. And yeah, Barbie definitely exceeded my expectations. I really, 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 really enjoyed it. I have very, very few criticisms of this film. And I saw people going like, oh, Barbie isn't really my thing. And I say like, fuck you to those people. Just go watch it. You will have a good time. I didn't play with Barbies. I don't ever intend to play with Barbies, but I had a really good time regardless, and I think you will too.
All right, guys. So those are Joe's thoughts on Barbie. And now, Franco, your thoughts on Barbie.
My thoughts on Barbie. Well, basically, Barbie is the story about Barbie, who suffers a crisis, an existential crisis that leads her to question her world and her existence. I mean, I love this movie. Is it subtle? Not necessarily. Is it ridiculous? Yes. Not definitely not childish.
No,
And
not childish at all. Definitely
I-
not for kids.
No, I mean the kids will like because I think the kids will like the flashy colors and
Yes, the imagery, the set, the sets,
the
the
set design.
costumes.
Oh my god, the set design and the costumes were so great. Like and it contrasts so much with the real world. There was a great. This is another swing from Greta Gerwig from what did she do
Little
last?
Women, from
Little
Lady
Women.
Bird.
Lady Birds. Like I did like, is this Greta Gerwig? I couldn't. Didn't believe this was Greta. There was a
The
musical. in
themes
it.
are very Greta Gerwig. The themes are very
Yes,
Greta Gerwig,
yes,
and the
yes,
writing and the quippy dialogue. But visually, like the imagery here, like if you had to tell me that's Greta Gerwig after Little Women
Yes.
with the Chalamet and Emma Watson and whatnot, like whoa, this is a fantastic swing from her. Fantastic swing.
No, it's like this is what Wes Anderson should look like, basically. Sorry, I'm Madonna. Look today. It's Wes Anderson hate day. No, I mean because
Every day is Wes Anderson hate day.
by the way, because I saw the comment, I liked the French Dispatch. Okay, it's the Grand Budapest Hotel that I don't like.
Lalo. All right.
Okay, just because I saw the comment. But no, but I think she does take cue from Wes Anderson, especially in the bits where she goes from her world to the real world, and she takes cue even from Monty Python.
Yes, the horses. I laughed out so much in the horses part.
Oh my god, it's like, yeah, Monty Python.
I think I shouted it out in the cinema. La Monty Python.
And I have to say, the Stanley Kubrick scene in the beginning makes more sense in the context than in the trailer.
Yes.
Because it made much more sense in the context of the movie than the trailer, because the trailer saw this last year. And now I said, now I appreciate this scene, but in the trailer it's like, but I did appreciate, like, it was a good, like, there's a good punchline about it as well, and this is a quite a subversive piece of movie making. Mattel will definitely. I don't know about Barney. What's going to happen? I feel like Daniel Kaluuya will have lots of.
Yes, he will have creative freedom because Kaluuya is a big name now.
Let's hope so, because
he won't. I don't think he's like Greta Gerwig. He won't accept intrusion from executives.
No, I mean. But like you said, let's take it as it is. This is a corporate movie, but she doesn't. I don't think she pulls any punches when she there's criticism for Mattel in this movie. I'm gonna finish by the way, because I've seen many guys. Nate, no, I'm not mentioning any names. Nate from Love Island. And Ben Shabibo. Madonna. Because I think even Oppenheimer, he didn't get Oppenheimer because, again, one of the last crucial scenes was given to a female character, which was, please note, always in the background. I think, obviously Oppenheimer was about the physicist. It was not about Kitty Oppenheimer. But considering Kitty Oppenheimer, one of the most crucial scenes was her. The fact that she didn't, again, spoiler here, the fact that she said, I wouldn't shake hands with that guy, and she did it, I would like, well fucking done. Because Oppenheimer was a bit of a pushover, to be honest, like, oh yeah, thank you, you know, and Kitty was like, told, like, she was the one with the balls. And here as well, and honestly, she gave so much depth to Ken, despite him like bringing patriarchy
Yes.
to Barbie Land.
Yes.
She's right. She's right. Coming to think of it, like Ken is always giving the cold shoulder. It's like even when Barbie goes to Mattel and says like, "And what about Ken? We don't care about him." La la. It's a problem that men themselves brought onto their shoulders. I think that's a great message, even when she says
And
like,
the
"No,
development that Ken goes through in the movie is fantastic.
of course," and when she tells him he's enough, it's like, "La la." That's a great message.
And discovering himself then at the end of the movie.
No, for sure. It
That's
was like
fantastic stuff.
no, because he says like it's always Barbie and Ken. It's a great question about like this guy, this male archetype, so to speak, being nothing without Barbie, without his counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, he's like, "Oh no, please, you're whole enough," you know. And
So I agree with you that the conservative commentary about this movie was completely off. Like they did not get this movie at all.
no, and
Them
even
talking about hating men. This is a men hating movie. That is
fuck off.
so ignorant. Like, you really. I'm sorry. I'm not to be dismissive.
No,
but
no.
You just
This
did
is
not get the movie. I'm sorry.
no. Genuinely, whoever thinks Sharp Hero's right, fuck right off. And even the way he reviewed the movie, this is a shit piled on top of dog shit. I mean, come on, it wasn't even a review. It's like you know this guy is a failed screenwriter because he said that there was no plot whatsoever. It's like the
Wow.
joke, and he said the joke about the water. That's it. That's the joke. Like what the hell? There was a payoff in the Mattel sequence. Speaking of negatives, however, I think again Stuckman said it in his review. The Mattel sequences were a bit like I did roll my eyes because they were a bit ridiculous, especially with the chase sequence.
Yeah. The chase sequence was a little weird.
Yeah,
I
it was.
agree.
It's true. Like and Will Ferrell was a bit of a wasted potential. And like Ellen, the character of Ellen, Ellen was
Michael Cera was so funny. He was
so
so good.
good.
So very good. Very good.
And Greta Gerwig, in her interview herself, she said, like, even men have their own tightrope to walk. I mean, such an empathetic vision of the world we're living in.
What do you think about the singing and the dancing?
I didn't mind it. I actually laughed my head off when Ken started singing.
I've been listening to that song.
It's so funny seeing him like taking it so seriously. Ryan Gosling, and to be honest, Ryan Gosling's singing got better from La La Land to this one.
From La La Land, it's very good, very good.
His singing is so good in this one because La La Land felt like it felt a bit shaky because it was the first time he's singing, but this one he was so confident and taken into his stride. And like when he goes like at the end of it, I'm just Ken. And
Doesn't matter what I do.
Yeah, exactly. And that song, I Wanna Push You Around, that's I was laughing. It's like, holy shit, then I saw this song in a different light whatsoever. I want to push you around when I would. Oh my god, that song is like, holy shit, you're singing this to the to the woman? No, stop.
I'm just Ken. Everywhere else I'd be a 10. My.
Blonde fragility.
Blonde fragility, Madonna. It's good. No, it's very good. And the dancing was the dance sequences were surprisingly really well made.
No, exactly. Very, very.
Do you think Greta Gerwig got some help with that, or?
I don't know. There must be there have been some dancers. By the way, there's a small Maltese connection. By the way, because one of the Barbies was Marisa Abela, who's going
Ooh,
to
okay.
play Amy Winehouse.
All right, nice, interesting.
Um,
What else is there to say? I mean, if I had to talk about positives, I think Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling were fantastic. Like, absolutely out of this world. Perfect casting. Like, perfect casting.
all
Both
round,
cases.
all
All
round.
round perfect casting. Yeah. All round perfect casting.
Some of the Barbies were really gorgeous, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Did you recognize Rito Aria from Polite Society?
No. I didn't recognize her.
No.
John Cena.
Yes,
The
yes.
reaction from the crowd when there was John Cena with the mermaid.
Oh my! I died.
Everyone was laughing so much in that
I
scene.
died. I mean,
Uh,
you see how the conservative people just didn't get it. I mean, a guy like John Cena to go into this movie and say, you know what, I'm game with this. Even Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling's so jacked looking. He's looking good, and it's like these guys get it.
committed, committed.
Oh,
That's
committed.
very committed role. I also really want his last jersey. Kenough. I'm
Yes,
Kenough.
yes. The sweater
I
is.
really want that sweater, man, so much. I
Yeah,
really want that sweater
I
so
think
much.
it's gonna go for like $100 or over now. What we see.
Whenever it's available, I'm gonna buy it.
I think about Mattel. Mattel
It's
is
gonna
gonna
make a
make
lot of money off
from
this.
the sweaters, not from the dolls. By the
Um,
way,
yeah.
I have an idea. I want to do a crowdfunding for Ben Shapiro's daughters because most probably they cannot find their Barbie dolls anymore.
Oh God, because he burned them for them.
Yes. So anyone who'd like to chip in, I'm going to do a fundraiser for Ben Shapiro's daughters will get their Barbies back. After.
I was also, I mean, I didn't know what to expect from this, but it's a very fast-paced movie. I think the
Yes,
story flows really well. I was never ever bored, like constantly entertained, constantly laughing. The scene where Margot Robbie falls on the floor and just like turns into a doll, that was so funny. Again, the whole audience was laughing their heads off. That was really good.
It
And
is
and you know who surprised me? I forgot the name of the actress. The not the broken Barbie.
Kate
Weird
McKinnon.
Barbie.
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon. She was so good in this as well. She was
So
very,
good.
very, very good in this. I think overall, production design, the music was very good. Overall, I had a blast.
It's very enjoyable. A movie with heart as well. It's great heart. Casting all around well done.
Simu Liu, very
Simu
committed
Liu,
performance as well.
friend of the show.
I'm starting to love Simu Liu.
Simu Liu, friend of the
I'm
show.
starting to love him so much. Like I loved him in Shang-Chi. He was very good in Shang-Chi. And now in this, I'm starting to really love Simu Liu. He's a committed performer.
Yes,
And
yes, for sure.
seems like a really nice guy as well. So overall,
He
I'm very,
is.
very, very happy.
I met him. He is.
Yeah. So overall, again, very, very pleased with this movie. Rating, Franco.
4 on 5. Some 4 on 5, like because of that Mattel sequence, it could have been done without. It's not exactly a criticism per se because the America Ferrera monologue, although great, was very on the nose.
Yes. I agree with you. It was a bit on the nose. Because of that, I'll give it a 4.5, not a
But
5.
no, actually, no. I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5 as well because it's a funny movie with heart. Guys, go watch it, please go watch it and stop being. I'm sorry, I'm gonna wear pink. And then fuck off. It's just a color, guys. Come on, go watch it. And this is a movie you go watch with your daughter as well. And it's like for Date's daughter to get it and not his. Thank fuck this daughter is smarter than her father.
Listen, I'm confident. I'm confident enough in my sexuality to wear pink and to go watch Barbie.
Yes,
I
yes, that's.
couldn't. I had so much fun. It was a really,
I,
really, really fun time in the cinema.
yeah,
Just
exactly.
embrace the fun, man. Just embrace
Exactly.
the fun. Don't be.
I couldn't give a two fucks about the pink. There's a very emotional moment when they show clips of the mothers.
Yes,
Oh
that
god.
moment and the song,
Uh,
oh,
Billie Eilish song.
the Billie Eilish song was so good. I've been
So
listening to
good.
that song as well. It was a perfect song
I prefer
for that scene.
to be honest, I really don't like the Nicki Minaj song. It's so yeah.
Perfectly. It's Nicki Minaj, Joe. I mean, I don't mind it. Like I know what I'm going to get from a Nicki Minaj
I know, but
song.
song.
But the Billie Eilish song was very, very good. Very, very good.
Minaj songs.
Been
It's
on non-stop on my
I mean,
playlist.
for people just that don't, this movie is being dismissed how should I say, unjustifiably.
Yes, yes,
It's
yes.
not a movie to be dismissed for sure.
Guys, go watch it, please.
It's
Embrace the fun. It's a fun movie. It's
it's
a
a very
really fun movie.
fun movie, emotional.
Embrace the message. It's a very, very
Yes,
positive
yes, yes,
message.
yes. True,
Even though it's a
throughout.
bit
It's
on the
not.
nose, it's a
No,
very, very, very positive message.
it's a. I mean, okay, yeah, it's mostly feminist, but there is something for the guys as well. Like, come
Yeah,
on,
100%.
100%. Like the way that Ken's arc is just resolved. Jesus, guys, there was a message for you as well. People who think, oh no, this is a gender ideology. Shut the fuck up. You didn't understand shit. Anyway, I'm not being diplomatic with people who refuse to embrace the fun of this movie. And
I
I
think,
think this is
yeah,
it.
that's it, guys. To conclude, we actually have one last review because last week Joe didn't join us, but he did send me his Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 review, which I definitely do not agree with. No, I agree in parts. I agree in parts. So, guys, here you go. This is our final review for the day. Joe's Mission Impossible 7 review.
So, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Full disclaimer, I'm not huge on the Mission Impossible series. I think they are James Bond wannabes, but very stupid, which is not a full-on criticism. I still think they're fun. They serve a purpose. They're extremely well made, especially in terms of like their stunt work and stuff like that. So I have admiration for them. I just don't love them because I like my spy thrillers a bit smarter, for lack of a better term. But Dead Reckoning Part 1, it's Tom Cruise's second attempt to save movies. Does he? Not really, in my opinion. So I'm going to be full disclosure, I did have a decent time, actually a pretty good time at the cinema with this film. I was a bit worried because, hot take, I didn't really like Fallout. I thought Fallout was, I'm going to say, a little bit shit. Just because I thought it was ultra stupid and cliched, and yeah, the stunt work fantastic, and most of the action really, really good. Really dumb villain. Anyway, Dead Reckoning Part 1. You have newcomers, Haley Atwell, really, really good addition. I wanted to discuss with Andrea, actually, and I think he'll agree with me. How did Hollywood miss out on the chance to cast Haley Atwell as Lara Croft for a good, grounded Tomb Raider film? Probably never going to see it now, but that's what I would have wanted from the world. To get into what I liked about this film, it's probably the most self-aware in the Mission Impossible universe, I guess. And because of that, it's very funny, almost slapsticky at times. Especially there's a particular chase scene in Rome, which is all silent comedy, like basically slapstick. And I enjoyed those parts the most. The things that like made me kind of drift off a bit from this movie, it's way too long. There's a habit at the moment in Hollywood where Hollywood likes flexing with their run times when this just didn't need to be this long, I don't think. It feels like they definitely had like enough juice for 2 films, and that's why they split it into 2. But yeah, this one I definitely started to feel the length towards the end. But like, the one big thing that really took away from the whole experience for me is there's just no goddamn villain in this film. You have Gabriel, who is like supposed to be the villain, but he's nothing. It's like, okay, minor spoiler, he's meant to be someone from Ethan Hunt's past, but even that's like kind of like a retcon because we've never seen this before. But he's just got nothing. He has no purpose, he has no menace, he has no motivation. Like, what is his relation to the entity in this film? Why is he doing the things that he is doing? We have nothing from him. And for me, as a viewer, that just makes me switch off and not care about anything he has to do. The best part about the Gabriel villain, and this is also going to come with a bit of criticism as well, is Pomme Clémentief's character of Paris. Now, physically, Pomme Clémentief is fantastic. She seems a little bit crazy, but like very tough, very agile, very determined. She should have been the villain with the dialogue that Gabriel had, because it would have given a bit more to that whole aspect. But that being said, Pomme Clémentief's almost like also a giant waste in this role, because she's so good physically, but she has zero characterization. Why is she helping this Gabriel guy? And like, skip ahead 15 seconds if you haven't seen the film, spoiler, why does she betray him, or attempt to betray him at the end? You know? Totally out of left field. She doesn't say anything, so you can't develop a character that way. It just doesn't work. It's a total waste of Pomme Clémentief's talents. But again, physically, fantastic. Really bought into her, the facial expressions, the fighting, everything, great. Just no characterization whatsoever. Luckily, the kind of like main cast of like Hayley Atwell, Tom Cruise, Ving Rhames, and even Simon Pegg, they're okay. They've got a bit more to them. I mean, we're familiar with Ethan Hunt and with Luther and with Simon Pegg's character, but Hayley Atwell comes in and she actually gets a little bit to her, and there's even some subtext over there. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. I did enjoy it. Controversial, I do think the ending train scene is kind of like a copy-paste from Uncharted 2, if anyone has played that, so I guess that's kind of my fault for it not being as exciting to me. It's still good, it's still staged very well, still looks really good. In fact, another really good high praise I have for this film is because the stunt work is 90% real, it looks so much better than like something like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Like, it feels like there's stakes to this. But yeah, I had a very decent time. I'm not on the side of like, I love it, this is incredible. I'm also not on the side of like, this is really bad and bland. It was a perfectly fine time at the cinema, and I'm glad I saw it in the cinema, because it was big, it was pretty, and I had fun through most of it, I would say. And that's my review of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. To everyone, the viewers, I will be back next week with my usual hatred of the Marvel extended universe, probably. And hopefully with a review for Talk to Me, because that comes out in the UK this weekend. So looking forward to getting back. But until then, I actually have to get back to work. Andrea and Franco, I wish you all the best, and have a good week, guys.
All right, guys. So that's
I disagree. I disagree, Joe.
Very harsh review. But Franco, that's pretty much it for today.
Yep.
Thank you so much to our viewers and listeners. This
Stay
was
safe.
obviously, stay safe. This was the Barbenheimer weekend. We had lots of fun movies to talk about. Next week, it's not like we're going to have a lot to talk about. I'll have The Witcher Season 3 to review.
They Clone Tyrone. I'm going to watch They Clone Tyrone.
We'll review next week as well. I'll watch it as well. Not a lot else. I can actually review. Actually, today I forgot to review, but I'll talk about it next week since we don't have a lot to talk about. Secret. What's it called? The Disney Plus series.
Secret Invasion.
I was liking it. I have to be fair. I was liking it up to the final episode. Talk
But
about it
like,
next week, though.
but finally he came. He saw the light because like I think we spread a bit too thin with all these series and stuff. No shit, Sherlock.
I
Anyway,
have
guys.
some thoughts, but that will be for next week.
And anyway, guys, please go watch Barbie. Don't, even if you're a guy, go watch Barbie. Then go watch Oppenheimer. I don't care in what order you watch it. Okay, guys, be open, embrace these novel films. Cinema is back.
Yeah.
And don't tell me this can be done by AI because I'm gonna come through to you through the screen right now. Okay.
Agreed. So, thank you, Franco, as always.
Thank you, Andrea, as always. Thank you, Joe, for not being here at Okaza.
Joe, we miss
good
you,
luck.
Joe.
Let's hope to see you next week. He's very busy working. Keep up, Sigma Grindset.
Sigma Grindset. Cue the Sigma Grindset theme song.
Yes. I like the perfect girl, so in love with you.
Thank you to our viewers and listeners as always. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, tell your friends about us. Let's keep up the good work. And with that is all, guys. Ciao, and
see you next week. Peace out.